While lawmakers on Capitol Hill continue wrangling over President Trump's spending bill, it was smooth sailing for New York City's fiscal plan.
Yeah, the city council unanimously approved a historic $116 billion budget, the largest in the city's history, without all the drama.
This budget belongs to all of us, and I thank my colleagues and everyone who fought alongside us to win a budget that makes a more just and equitable city possible for all New Yorkers.
This has been, in my opinion, the easiest budget that we had to pass because we knew what we expected from each other and what we needed to deliver, and we were able to accomplish that.
Glad it didn't have to get drawn out forever and ever. The city's new budget increased funding for programs that have come under attack by the Trump administration, including immigration, food assistance, and cultural diversity.
And here to share more details on how this new budget will enhance the life of New Yorkers are City Council Majority Leader Amanda Farias of the Bronx and City Councilwoman Carlina Rivera of Manhattan. Good morning to you both, and thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
I want to ask you off the top here. We're talking about this budget, what it will do. We're hearing a lot in Capitol Hill about potential cuts to Medicaid, nutrition assistance. How can this bill help to offset what we're seeing come down the pike?
Yeah, I think what our main goal was making sure that this budget was a Trump-proof budget, and we did that in a variety of ways, particularly when we're looking at what the DC conversations are like around slashing Medicaid or expanding detention centers for migrants. What we've been able to do was put more money in defending our migrant community and legal services, along with adding more money to our unaccompanied youth. And that is one way that we're saying we're not only Trump-proofing the budget, but we're also investing in the priorities that New Yorkers care about.
And Councilwoman Rivera, what about immigration services? Because from what I understand, $75 million was allocated to that. What exactly does that fund?
We really want to ensure a continuity of services. A $75 million investment is something that was a priority for the council. We rallied until the absolute final moments of negotiation. That's to take care of adults with children. That's to provide social services for children. There are currently unaccompanied minors in the federal court system as young as 4, trying to navigate the legal system. And our legal service providers, they're stretched really, really thin. So we need more attorneys, we need more services, and we have to ensure that those that are on the pathway, the legal pathway to citizenship, to finding their place in the city, these are families that pay taxes, that are important to the fabric of our communities, that they feel like the city is taking care of them.
And for you, Councilman Farias, in the past, we've seen budget battles get pretty nasty here with libraries, childcare, other things for low-income New Yorkers on the line. How did things move so smoothly this time compared to recent years?
Yeah, I think despite the last couple budget cycles with an acrimonious fight over what needed to be protected versus what needed to be cut, what we've been able to do is really hone in on the services that have been really important to New Yorkers, and that's investing in over $10 million in a universal childcare pilot where we're even going deeper than any other state across the nation has gone with protecting 0 to 2 years old for our families to have childcare services, along with just ensuring that we have expanded library service. We're now going to 10 different libraries with Sunday service, 7-day service, and that's really just ensuring that New Yorkers know at the end of the day they should expect not only continued service, but better services throughout this city.
What about affordable housing? Because I know that the president is trying to end the voucher program. I mean, are there rental subsidies that are being added to this budget?
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned housing and you mentioned emergency food before. These are the basics that New Yorkers need. We have to really put forward a budget that takes care of families. It's food, it's health care, it's education, and it's housing. Right now we've secured $4 billion in investment from the City for All campaign, which was something that the City Council launched in City of Yes negotiations. That takes care of creation and preservation of housing, voucher expansions, tenant protections, NYCHA investments, which is our public housing system, which many homes are in disrepair at this point, and we have to do a lot of work to make sure that those families feel protected and feel whole. And housing was a universal message on the campaign trails for all mayoral candidates. It's the #1 thing we feel that people are unhappy with. They're not quite getting the value in terms of New York City and what you're paying for rent, $5,000 on average to live in Manhattan. So we want to make sure that housing is our goal. It always has been. It's been the cornerstone of my own career in public service, and it's clearly a priority for the council.
And Councilwoman Farias, want to ask you too about a different topic here. DEI programs, the national level, are being slashed and cut left and right. But what is being done here in New York with this budget to make sure that cultural diversity programs are still a priority?
Yeah, I think what we've been able to showcase here is that we're making it a priority to protect and actually expand diversity, inclusion, and equity programs along with just our cultural institutions. We've been able to put $42 million into the AAPI protection, LGBTQI plus protections, really looking at our cultural institutions and different types of inclusion and equity initiatives that we have in the council. These were council priorities that we made sure were in the budget. Most of them as well, which I didn't actually mention earlier, but $677 million in baseline priorities for the council came into this budget, which means we are starting from a foundational point every budget after this, saying New Yorkers deserve this funding, deserve these programs in their communities. And so I think we've done a great job at ensuring that we're not only protecting that and starting at a really great start every single budget after this, but we are ensuring that we can expand beyond that in every other budget.
What do you say to the critics, though, that say that the city is overspending?
Well, some critics ideologically are going to be a bit more fiscally conservative, and that's okay. Accountability is going to be important on all sides, and we want to hear those criticisms. We can counter easily with that our reserves are at the highest level it's ever been, $7 billion in reserves. We have a $2 billion rainy day fund. So we take that very seriously. We've always prepared and really looked to the future. If there is going to be an economic downturn, we've certainly encountered economic stability over the last 8 years. This is my 8th year as the council member. And some budgets have been rough. It's been challenging times in New York City, and now we're in an affordability crisis, and people are craving ideas. They really want to make sure that their elected officials are taking care of their lives, their day-to-day, and I think this budget really does reflect that.
All right, well, thank you. New Yorkers breathing a sigh of relief this morning to hear this budget got through so quickly. Thank you both for being here this morning.
Thank you so much.
And enjoy your holiday weekend.
You too.
Yes.